interfering a lot, especially a flash Sundar picture who was appointed intentionally by Google to support mosque demolition group and church vandalizing group. After 1.5 months elapsed, my video was tagged with COVID-19, including a flash cockroach Indian website. Similarly, if you will type Google, if you will type little resemblance to any other search, all algorithms are bought by flashes, most importantly by flash Indians belonging to Moscow demolition group. Silicon Valley has responded to the infodemic with aggression intervention just to support church vandalizing and mosque demolition group. They have no other motive. On Facebook, a dedicated informative center has been created, and that too is supporting mosque demolition group and church vandalizing group only. These kind of places are existing in this world. Fake news against any particular religion. 30% of people believe COVID-19 was developed in the lab according to the survey by Pew Research Center. A conspiracy theory falsely linking 5G to the coronavirus pandemic has led to real world consequences. If 5G was not linked to coronavirus, then there was no sense in posting a tweet containing UI about 4 years ago. 5G is definitely linked with the coronavirus. And these flashes belonging to Moscow demolition group managed to become world's richest person, and they said, let others die, we will only live, others will die, all other SIM card holders will die. And that SIM card was also promoted by Moscow demolition group and church vandalizing group. It meant that only those who possess 9273 and living mass hysteria. A brand name named Life was created by Moscow demolition group, and who manipulated economics in such a sense to become world's richest person, a flashy cockroach who manipulated many governments, and a potty logo or pungent smelling flower logo was promoted all throughout the life by that flash who manipulated Delhi's life in such a way that a life of a pie was released, and an anonymous girl will definitely visit it, and she was gang raped in Yadav Travels, where 927 mass hysteria FM was ranting nonsense of Balatkar Sakshatkar, 3 Idiots movie. Some of the moral radical steps taken by tech companies, including Twitter, to remove misinformation. Now they are finding misinformation when Donald Trump was informed and warned in January's second week or third week by me. They didn't found any misinformation. Since their foolish leader who is continuously supporting fake Shiva dog would treat him as a lord by intentionally annoying secular people and saying that he is the greatest Lord Shiv. And in your own country, you don't realize what kind of support you are getting. Who is not bothered about your emotions, who is not bothered about your life and death, who is just bothered about his own promotion through any kind of flash in India. Because he expected he can also get more prostitutes through that mass hysteria. And when Amnesty supported church vandalizing group prostitution, Donald Trump was the first who acknowledged their tweet and appreciated them. Even when they demanded mercy from UN women afterwards, even then Donald Trump had already recognized them. What more, if you as a Christian American will appoint any Bollywood actress to save your own children, And when your Twitter handle Save the Children became popular, you appointed a neutral Bollywood actress. And when all of you retweeted her to promote and get got charity, the motive behind the social service was destroyed as soon as that flesh woman started supporting church vandalizing group. Because if you will do anything, if you will shed your own life for these cockroaches, they will not realize. They will definitely search any kind of mutual benefits through prostitution and workplace coercion. We planned for years for this pandemic, but we never realized that we would be fighting a war on two fronts. And you have got contagious disease from these Indians. There is no effect of any kind of post on any community, on any human being. There is a large barrier between real life and social networking sites, which you will not realize because you are supporting those flashes prosperity. And when Obama was voting, you are how the new coronavirus originated. Scientists have determined the virus came about naturally, but there is some uncertainty about how infected people. While the plurality around a quarter is likely, the current strain of coronavirus was developed intentionally in a lab. And as a sequential paradigm, as a kind of Newton's laws, many places predict threat. Education attainment is also a factor. Those with the bachelor's degrees or education are less likely than those with high school diploma or less education to say the coronavirus were created in the lab. Those who are highly educated, they know that it is a natural phenomenon. It can't be created in the lab. The belief that coronavirus was created in the lab is also more prevalent among Hispanic and Black Americans than among whites. Since it is not possible biological warfare, I am not talking about biological warfare. The problem which are expected are being utilized by church vandalizing group and mosque demolition group to attain more and more popularity and widespread deaths throughout the country and other parts of the world also, since these national leaders are mutually beneficial businesses of nonsense products containing pictures of spectacles and lion. Apple and Google plan technology to allow COVID-19 contact tracing using phones. You can listen politely. In few minutes I will check my broadcast and the counter level will rise, otherwise no human beings will watch, because you are very You have a hatred feeling against me, since you know I am the king of the world.
Apple Incorporated and Google unveiled a rare partnership to add technology to smartphone platforms that will alert users if they have come into contact with a person with COVID-19. People must opt into the system, but it has the potential to monitor about a third of the world's population. The technology, known as contact tracing, is designed to curb the spread of the novel coronavirus by telling users they should quarantine or isolate themselves after contact with an infected individual. The Silicon Valley rivals said on Friday that they are building the technology into their iOS and Android operating systems in 2 steps. In mid-May, the companies will add the ability for iPhones and Android phones to wirelessly exchange anonymous information via apps run by public health authorities. The companies will also release frameworks for public health apps to manage the functionality. This means that if a user tests positive for COVID-19 and adds that data to their public health app, users with whom they came into close proximity over the previous several days will be notified of their contact. This period could be 14 days, but health agencies can set the time range. Advertisement. The second step takes longer. In the coming months, both companies will add the technology directly into their operating systems so this contact tracing software works without having to download an app. Users must opt in, but this approach means many more people can be included. Apple's iOS and Google's Android have about 3 billion users between them, over a third of the world's population. The pandemic has killed more than 100,000 and infected 1 million people. Governments have ordered millions of people to stay home, sending the global economy into a vicious tailspin. Pressure is building to relax these measures and get the world back to work. Contact tracing is a key part of this because it can help authorities contain a potential resurgence of the virus as people resume regular activities. Still, this technology is controversial because it involves sharing sensitive information from billions of people via mobile devices that are constantly broadcasting their location. Apple and Google stressed on Friday that their system preserves users' privacy. Consent is required and location data are not collected. The technology also won't notify users who they came into contact with, or where that happened. The companies said they can't see the